In this video, we're fabbing up a custom brake pedal assembly from scratch for a 34 Ford Coupe hot rod. So stick around and check it out. Welcome back to Ratrod Bob Builds, and a little shop where dreams come true. Well, hey, we got work to do. Let's get at it. Next up, brake pedal and brake master. So I got this wheelwood brake master that Michael Vauder sent me. Really nice piece, brand new. It's gonna look good too. Hey, I got this brake pedal or clutch pedal or whatever come out of something. I don't even know what it come out of, but I got to start anyway. But it unbolts right there. This piece here comes off, so that's the first thing I'm gonna do is take that off. I don't need this, so I'm gonna drill these pins out and get this piece off. So I just have this to work with. And I got nylon bushings in the tube shaft that goes in here, so yeah, we got a good start. I'm at to modify this. I'm going to cut this off, modify it from here down. No problem. Been there, done that. So I got to get it back in here somewhere and make a. I got to mount the brake pedal. Got to find out where I need to mount it, and then I got to figure out how I'm gonna make it push that shaft on the brake master. So yeah, that. This brake master is perfect. It's a 7/8 bore, so that's perfect for manual brakes. So if you're setting up manual brakes on your hot rod, rat rod, you want 7/8 or 15/16 bore. I mean, that's the size of the bore here. If you're setting up power brakes, you might want like a 1 inch or a 1/16, 1/8 bore, something like that. It's got outlets on either side. Comes with plugs to plug the side you're not going to use, and the fittings for the side you are going to use. There's my tube that goes right there with the bushings. Boot for a master cylinder. It goes right there. Yeah. So I'm gonna get this disassembled and start chopping this up, make this work. Start with first thing I got to do. So I'm fabbing up some parts. Took the bolts out of that, took this off. Modified this. I cut it, flipped this around, and to get this a little closer to the firewall, because it's right now it was too close to the dash. I want it closer to the firewall. I got this plate made. It's gonna go right there. Made this guy. I got this nylon bushing, and it goes right there. And this guy goes there with a 1/2 inch stainless bolt that I cut off. and I welded it flat. So the head of that, so when it swivels, it'll swivel, the bolt and all will swivel inside that nylon bushing. Yeah, that. Lock nut goes on. And this is gonna screw. I took the 3/8 24 die and run these threads back a little further. I might have to still go back further yet, I don't know. Trying to get this closer to the firewall. I mean, you know, it's made, this is made for like a muscle car or something. But I got a lot, I'm in a tighter spot here with this coupe, so. But this is a 3/8 24 nut I got welded in, and this screws into that. Lock nut. Of course, I'm gonna have to run this up. Probably have to cut some of these threads off. And so now I got to build. Now I got to connect this plate to this with more bushings and pin bushings. So that, you know, that swivel will push the master cylinder, activate the master cylinder. But see what the problem is, I'll show you. See up in here where I want this, I don't have a lot of room to work with. I mean, you know, it was like way out here, and the way I got it modified, I got it closer. So yeah, I don't have a lot of room there. That's the reason I'm had to make all this, modify all this stuff. So, well, and plus I had to make parts because I didn't even have the stuff to do it with. I could have brought, I could go to Wheelwood and buy a brake pedal for like 250 bucks, brake pedal assembly. But I don't know, I like to build stuff. I don't know. Might should have bought it, but hey, it is what it is. We're gonna make one. So I'm doing some math here. Wheelwood website tells you how to set this up. If you got a manual booster, which this is a 7/8 bore or a 15/16 bore is good for a manual master cylinder. You need a 6-to-1 ratio. In other words, if your brake pedal is 6 inches long, you need 1 inch from this pivot point to this pivot point. But since my brake pedal is like gonna be almost 18 inches long, which is 3 times 6, I got this at 3 inches. So from this pivot point to this, I got 3 inches, thereabouts, close enough. So this is gonna be here. I got my pivot point X out there. And I kind of guesstimated where it needs to be this way by, I'm going to cut some of this off to make that work, but that's gonna be about right somewhere in there. I got adjustments, I could put more threads on here if I need to. So if you got a power brakes, your ratio is gonna be different. I mean, if you think about it, the closer this point is to this one, the more leverage you're gonna have. Which is, you need a little bit more leverage for a manual booster than you do for a power booster. So a power booster, this point would probably be down another ½ inch or so, something, I don't know, something like that. But if you got enough leverage, you don't need a power booster. I mean, you can save yourself a lot of trouble. You don't have to take up room for a power booster. You don't have to worry about vacuum line for a power booster. Just to stop just as good as power brakes because you got more leverage. Now your foot pedal might move a little bit more on a manual booster, but hey, who cares about that? I mean, you know, power brakes, you just kind of like mash a little bit, you got brakes. Where a manual, you might have to mash it a little bit more, but hey, who cares about that? I mean, I like simple stuff. So manual brakes, 6-to-1 ratio from here to here. I'm gonna have an 18-inch from here to the pedal. So I need 3 inches from there to there. I got that. So I kind of drew it out on this cardboard here. I need to make 2 plates, which is gonna weld there and there. And this is gonna go in between them. So I kind of got it drew out what I need. I need 2 1/8-inch plates out of this. This is 1/8 inch, about 1/8 inch. So I need 2 plates like this. Next is what I need. So I made a template off of that, and I marked out 2 on a plate over here. I got my 80-amp plasma cutter, best start, best one I've had, best start. So I'm gonna cut these 2 out with my plasma cutter right there, then we can work with them. So I got my air plugged in, going through my filter dryer. You know, this is this plastic pipe with T-shirts in there to filter dry the air, and that goes to my plasma cutter. I got about 100 PSI, something like that, be fine. Turn my plasma cutter on. Got ground clamp. I got it wide open. I always cut wide open. Air pressure, 85 PSI, that's good. Make sure it works. Yep, it works. So, let's see, I'm gonna cut these straight lines first. Right there. Good thing I got a grinder. Need a grinder. Let's see right there. It ain't a perfect world. So I got 2 of these guys I'm gonna clamp them together, then use a grinder to shape them where they both be asymmetrical, both the same. I think asymmetrical is a word. I got corrected on that a while back. So yeah, I got grind them, then I drill a hole through both plates for a swivel point up here for the pedal. So I got my two pieces clamped together with vice grips. I got a new flat wheel. I'm just gonna grind them where they both the same. Close enough. We ain't building a piano. So I got my template. This is where I need a hole. X marks the spot. So I get my template lined up. I mean, it ain't gotta be absolutely perfect. So I need a hole right there. It's got to be the center point. Right there. I need to know what size hole. So I got this inner sleeve. I need to clean it up, but this inner sleeve goes in. Of course, you got nylon bushing on both sides. That sleeve is just a hair longer than this, so when you tighten it up, it'd be pressing on the sleeve and it's still swivel. That's the way that works. So I need to find out what size bolt I'm gonna need for that. Let's see, 1/2 inch. Nope. 7/16. Yep. So I need a 7/16 hole. That's what I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna clamp these back together, get them lined up best I can. This edge here is the most important. And I need a 7/16 hole through both right there. So now I need to mount the master cylinder, and I got a spot marked that I think would be a good spot for it, right there. That'll give me, it'll be far enough, high enough away from the valve cover. I can take the valve cover off if I needed to. And it'd be a good spot, look good there to clear the side panels. Yeah. So yeah, it'll look good there. So they say if it looks good and it works, they'll love it. So I'm gonna put it right there. But before I made that decision, I got in here, I got it marked, not that marked, but this one kind of about where it's gonna be. And that's gonna put my brake pedal kind of like right there, which is gonna be fine. I got this piece kind of welded up. Still need to brace it up, do a lot of work, but I've got started on it. So I'm gonna drill a hole for the master cylinder. I got a hole saw here. So you get my motor covered up. Right there. While I'm at it, I might as well drill a bolt hole. So, see, I need center. Get it level. Something like that. Set this up here as a guide. Right there. Right there. Should work, something like that. Be closing up a rat rod. Hot rod. Made to quit calling it a rat rod, I guess. See if that'll work. That'll work. I need to weld me 2 bolts to that, so when I stick it through, it'd just be the stud sticking out. Be a lot easier. All right, master cylinder. Gonna be right there. What's that look like? Works for me. Like a good spot for it right there. So I got me a couple bolts welded in. I got the holes drilled. So that goes in like that. I almost got center of that hole. That's fine, the master cylinder fits, so that's the hole a little big anyway, so we good. So now I need to make some kind of bracket to mount it to this. You know, we don't want it doing that when you're mashing the brake pedal. So it needs a little more strength there. So I need something, and I want it to bolt in and out, so I gotta have it where I can put a couple bolts here, some kind of way mount it to that. Yeah. Let me do that, we'll see what that looks like. Okay, I got it all built. Got the parts laid out here. Assembly. First thing I need to do is get this nylon bushing here. Go. Get it about centered. Something like that. Make sure the bolt goes through. Yep, that'll work. Now I need to get this guy and these guys in. Like that. Like that. Got one new one. I didn't have one old one, so I had this one a little different, but it still worked, I hope. The main thing is that inside tube is, when I tighten it up, I don't put in a bind, so we're gonna try it. If it does, I had to grind some off the outside tube. We're gonna see if it fits, so So let's see if we get it in there. It's gonna be a tight fit, no doubt. Something like that. Got a lock nut for this bolt. Now when I tighten this up, this better still move, or I'm going to take some off the outside tube. You see I had to bend that because it's close to the steering column, so I needed a little more room. I got me a little pad for a brake light switch. A brake light switch goes in right there. Let me tighten this up, see if it still works. Still working so far. So far, so good. That's tight. Yeah, we're good. Perfect. So we got nylon bushings there, here, everywhere. So that's what you want. Of course, this goes right there. This goes here. Like so. This bolt goes through it, through the nylon bushing. Right there. All right. So now I need to get this guy in. I got to put the brake light switch in after the fact because it's a tight fit getting it in. So let's do that. All right, here we go. You see I got a bracket welded here with a nut on the back side for right here. All right, let's see if we can get it in there. There it is, right there. Perfect. Just nut in, bolt. Get this bolt in. Right there. Now, master cylinder. Right there. Eight grade nuts. Make sure I'm able to get this on before I run it all the way up. And yeah, we'll be able to get it. All this is gonna come back apart eventually, but right now, looks good. Well, except for kind of angled down a little bit. I don't like that, but it'd be all right. I mean, some of the stock cars is up, you know, old muscle cars. So we good. be fine. Let's see, I need a couple things over here. I need this guy and a nut for it. Brake light switch. See, I gotta get this one in. I don't know if you can see that, but remember I got this flat, so this bolt won't turn. So it'll turn into bushing instead of on the part. Nylon lock nut. Works good. Now, Willwood website said the master cylinder needs to bottom out before the pedal hits the firewall floor, and that's what I got. And I still got some adjustment on this piece here if I need it. I got the rest of my brake pedal. I had to bend it, had to get the torch on it, heat it up and bend it a little bit, make it work. No problem. And there we have it. It's gonna be great. I got a billet brake pad and a billet throttle assembly. I gotta install next. So I had this here got to be modified on the bottom to make that work. So, but right now that's what we got. You can see a steering column. I got enough room. It's right beside the steering column, so brake pedal, hot rod, brake pedal. It's gonna be great. Man, that's a lot of work. I'm taking the rest of the weekend off. Hey, appreciate you. See you next time.